While opening statements began yesterday in the highest profile trial to date related to the January 6th attack on the Capitol. Oath Keepers founder Stewart Rhodes and 4 other members of that pro-Trump militia group are accused of plotting an armed rebellion to block the peaceful transfer of power. The Justice Department alleges the group stockpiled guns just outside of Washington so they could bring them into the city at a moment's notice. The lawyer for Rhodes claims the group followed D.C.'s strict gun laws and would have only used force if Trump had invoked the Insurrection Act, which they believed would have allowed them to come to his aid. Let's bring in NBC News Justice reporter Ryan Riley live outside the district courthouse in Washington, D.C. Ryan, good morning. You've been following this for years, this story of what the Oath Keepers did in the days leading up to January 6th and then on that day. How's this trial going to play out?
Well, you know, the biggest surprise that prosecutors had yesterday was these recordings of Stewart Rhodes after January 6th, and they have some recordings before as well. But, you know, we've seen a lot of text messages of what exactly was going on because we have access now to those Signal chats where they were having these encrypted chats back and forth leading up to January 6th. But what happened afterwards was there was this recording on January 10th where apparently someone who was pretty concerned with what had happened and concerned with what Stewart Rhodes was saying, as there was this apparently a plan for something to happen going forward to try to still stop the peaceful transfer of power even after January 6th. And they recorded Stewart Rhodes. And, you know, Stewart Rhodes' defense now is that we are just waiting on Trump's order. Nothing would have happened without Trump's order. These folks who went inside the Capitol did so on their own volition, not under my orders. But what he says in that recording is a much different story. He says that he wishes they brought guns to the Capitol on January 6th and they could have taken care of it right then and there had it happened. There's a lot of communications that the Justice Department has revealed that show that, you know, even if Donald Trump hadn't invoked this Insurrection Act, which he didn't, of course, they would have moved forward. So they wanted Donald Trump to do something, but they had planned to move forward regardless of what Trump said, is what prosecutors are alleging here, Willie.
So I'm curious, Ryan. Obviously, you have reported meticulously on how this investigation by the Justice Department, FBI, the largest in U.S. history, they just continue to find perpetrators and continue to try them. I'm wondering, though, for this particular case, how high are the stakes for the DOJ? Is this their most important case?
This is definitely their most important case. This is their biggest one and their biggest challenge. And, you know, frankly, when you cover a lot of these trials, you sometimes wonder why they bothered to go to trial. Plea deal would have been a much better option for a lot of these defendants. In this case, there is a little bit of nuance. This isn't the slam dunk necessarily that we've seen in the other cases. There's a lot of evidence for sure, but I think it's not outside the realm of possibility that we end on a mixed verdict here. There is some, you know, it's a very, having this idea of having these seditious conspiracy charges are very difficult. You know, that's a high standard that they have to meet here. It's not necessarily something that is tough. It's difficult to prove. It's certainly a high standard for them. One of the toughest cases they've had yet to date. So we'll see how this ends up landing with the jury there, Joe.
And I understand it's been 30 years since the Justice Department's got a conviction for seditious conspiracy.
That's right. They tried this in 2012, and it actually pretty much failed. I mean, there's a lot more evidence in this case. And certainly, if you're not going to use seditious conspiracy charges for an attack on the U.S. Capitol, when are you going to use it, right? That's sort of, I think, what you have to realize here. It was a much different scenario. Yeah, it was a much different scenario, I think, in that 2012 case, which involved the Huttery militia in Michigan, where that was a plot, sort of a contingent plot to attack police officers. We're in a much different situation here when you actually have an invasion of the U.S. Capitol. So it's a little bit of nuance in this case about whether or not there was actually this active plan to go into the Capitol on January 6th ahead of time. I think we're still going to have to see how much evidence prosecutors can turn up with that. And certainly I think it's going to be interesting to see this tension between Stewart Rhodes and the other defendants, because Stewart Rhodes is essentially throwing these other folks under the bus and saying, hey, they went in on their own. This wasn't me. Of course, then he celebrates it afterwards. And they actually that evening went to the Olive Garden to celebrate the attack on the U.S. Capitol. So I think that it's going to be definitely interesting to see how this evidence plays out over the course of this trial, which is going to last, 5 or 6 weeks here.
NBC's Ryan Riley, thank you very much for your reporting this morning. Let's turn.